The men's lacrosse team is perfect so far in MAAC play. Only 2 opponents stand in its way. Can they complete the unbeaten season? Q30's own Dylan Fearon sits down with freshman midfielder Foster Cuomo.
Plus, MJ, after this last week's sweep of Iona, the Quinnipiac Baseball team looked to continue its rise in the MAAC standings as they took on the Manhattan Jaspers.
That's right, Tom, and Quinnipiac Softball held its senior day this past weekend. Kyle Lavasser brings his softball knowledge to the table.
And we take a look back at the past exciting year of Quinnipiac Athletics by handing out some awards and recognitions. Can't believe it's the last time saying this, but Sports Paws starts right now.
Hello, everyone. Welcome in one more time to Studio 125, the home of Q30 Television. I'm MJ Baird.
And I'm Tom Albanese, MJ. It's crazy. It's not only the last episode of Sports Paws for the school year, but also the fight for postseason play is on the horizon for several spring sports teams. How about you get things started with the men's lacrosse team, MJ?
Sounds great, Tom. Men's lacrosse up at Monmouth. We got some film for you. Let's bring it to you. MAAC conference matchup here. We'll start. Quinnipiac gets the ball off the face-off. Good start to the game for the Bobcats. First quarter, Ryan Keenan, he's going to score early. Look at this little dipsy-do there. Gives Bobcats the early lead, 1-0. 3 minutes later, though, it's John Castellano for Monmouth. He turns around, curls, and shoots there. We got a tie ball game, 1-1. Still in the first, though. Jack Bruss with a good save there. Take another look at that one. Good save on Dylan Schulte. 4:03 left, though, in the first. Ryan Keenan rips another, his second of the game, 2-1. We'll head to the second quarter now. Foster Cuomo with the sidearm sling, the freshman. He makes it 3-1 Bobcats. Later on, Ryan Keenan. Oh, I'm sorry, there's Cuomo again. Good little slow motion shot of him. Third quarter, though, Ryan Corcoran gets a pass on the inside. He fires that one in. 5-4 Quinnipiac. And check this out, Will Vitelli right off the faceoff. He could go all the way, Tom, and he does. Bounces that one in the back of the net. 6-4. Jack Bruss with a couple good saves as the end of the game approaches. Take another good look at that one there. Oof. Stick up in the air. Fourth quarter, though, it's Dylan Schulte again. He rips one from way outside. That gets past Bruss. 7-5. This game is getting a little bit closer, Tom.
Yes, it is. But
27 seconds left in the game. Brian Feldman catches the Monmouth goaltender off guard. Bobcats go on to win, 8-5. Let's take a look now at the conference standings at large, Tom. Quinnipiac sits at the top with no blemishes in its record. The Bobcats are the 2016 MAAC regular season champions. This gives Quinnipiac home field advantage as it will host the conference tournament here in Hamden. Behind the Bobcats, the Marist Red Foxes and the Canisius Golden Griffs fight for second and third place. Monmouth, Siena, and Detroit all battle for the last playoff spot.
Definitely such a big accomplishment for the men's lacrosse team, MJ. And this team is, as you mentioned, regular season champions for the first time since moving to the MAAC. Q30's Dylan Fearon got the chance to sit down with freshman Foster Cuomo on his beginning experiences in college lacrosse, playoff expectations, and much more.
Foster, thanks for coming on. Appreciate the time.
Thanks for having me.
So you guys won the regular season title, first time since 2011 when we were back in the NEC. What about this team, and although you're just a freshman, is different about previous teams in the past? What about this team is so special?
I mean, I think everyone from our freshmen to our seniors, we had a really good freshman class coming in. We got a bunch of freshmen playing right now, and I think it just helps, pushing from the bottom up. When you got those freshmen that are able to contribute, it bumps everybody in their talent level, makes them compete. So I think the freshman class definitely helps contribute.
You mentioned the freshman. What's the transition been like from high school across to college across? What's been the biggest difference? What's it been like? It seems like it's been a smooth transition for you, third on the team in goals and points.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a lot faster of a game. Coming from high school and the first game you come out here, it's almost like a shock. You don't really expect the speed to pick up that much. So it's definitely an adjustment from the first game, to the end of the season. And it's been a good adjustment. And I'm just happy I've been able to, fit in with the team and been able to contribute.
You've been playing with guys like Ryan Keenan, Brian Feldman, 2 top scorers and in points. What have you learned from them? What have you seen in their game that helps you grow as a lacrosse player?
Yeah, they're outstanding players and a lot of fun to play with. Ryan also being another Canadian, he has that box mentality, and Brian not too far from Canada too. They're both great offensive players, and just watching them on the field, their confidence and how they play the game, it's just easy for me to build off of and take key aspects of their game and involve it in mine.
Although you weren't here last year, team made it to the championship game, lost to Marist. Then this season, you guys get revenge in the regular season. What was that like, seeing the older guys getting the revenge that they really wanted?
Yeah, it was really awesome. It was a really fun experience too, beating them at Marist. And we kind of just we won, and then we kind of forget about it because there's a good chance we're going to see them in the MAAC playoffs the next couple of weeks. So we're trying to focus on what's to come.
We're playing on this field, got home field advantage, #1 seed. What are the keys to getting Quinnipiac to the NCAA tournament?
I think just keep playing how we're playing. We've been doing really good the past 5 games. We got a lot of confidence going into our games, and I think that's the biggest key is that we got to be confident, don't look down on ourselves. We've been playing great all season, and we just have to bring it into every single game.
All right. Foster Cuomo, thanks for the time.
Thank you.
Tom, while we've been up here in Connecticut, the women's golf team has been down in Florida. After 3 rounds of golf, the Quinnipiac Bobcats are MAAC champions for the first time in program history. John O'Connor's Bobcats led all 54 holes of the tournament and scored a program record 69 over par aggregate score. Freshman Luciana Tobaya won medalist honors. Tom, that's #1 out of all 40 golfers at the event, shooting a 3-day total 9 over par. She is the first Quinnipiac golfer to achieve this feat. Tobaya took home both Rookie of the Year and Player of the Year awards. John O'Connor was named MAAC Coach of the Year. Julia Kemling and Taylor Lambro also finished in the top 10 at the event. Winning the MAAC gives Quinnipiac an automatic NCAA tournament berth, the first in program history. At the Golf Channel NCAA selection show, Quinnipiac came in at the number 18 seed. They'll head down to Bryan, Texas to play at Traditions Golf Club in the regional. 18 teams will compete, and the top 6 will move on to the championship.
Certainly an amazing accomplishment, MJ. But now transitioning to the Diamond, the Quinnipiac baseball team traveled to Kingston, Rhode Island, battling the University of Rhode Island Rams in a non-conference showdown. The Bobcats earned a 2-1 victory in the game. Brandon Shalakas surrendered only the 1 run on 8 hits through 5 innings of work. With the game tied at 1 in the 6th inning, Joseph Burns drove home Lou Ionati on a double to take the lead. 4 scoreless innings by the bullpen sealed the victory. And after everything that's been going on with the team, Q30 Sierra Goodwill got the chance to speak with the team about their season's recent turnaround and what lies ahead for possible playoff contention. Sierra?
Winners of 5 of its last 6 conference games, the Quinnipiac baseball team's playoff hopes are alive as it sits just 1 spot outside the MAAC tournament. Head coach Sean Delaney attributes his squad's recent hot streak to returning to its roots.
Out of all those games that we've played in the last 2 weeks, we've played complete games, defense, pitching, and we've swung the bat well.
Everything's clicking, where in the beginning the pitchers would throw well one game, but the hitters wouldn't hit, and the hitters would put up 10 runs, but then the pitchers wouldn't throw. So now everything's starting to click, and we're starting to roll.
One constant for the Bobcats has been junior shortstop and captain Matthew Batten. A .352 batting average and 56 total hits are both team highs.
He's the kid that comes in here, does his early work every single day.
Freshman talent has been imperative for this team that suffered 2 detrimental injuries.
Moski's done a great job, I think, from the start of the year of just, even though he struggled early on, of still keeping his head up and understanding that he's going to get plenty of opportunities and he just needs to figure some things out, and he made some adjustments with his swing, so now he's starting to make more solid contact.
They sit just 1 spot out of the playoffs, but face the top 3 seeds in the conference before the end of the regular season.
And now we're with our backs against the wall. We put ourselves in a deep spot, so I'm pretty much just telling them to execute our style.
There are 6 home and 6 away conference games left in the regular season. The Bobcats are 5-1 in Hamden and 1-5 on the road in league games so far this season. Quinnipiac returns to MAAC action April 30th when it hosts Monmouth. This is Sierra Goodwill, Q30 Sports.
Well, MJ, we've heard from the team. Let's see how they look on the field. Game 1 of Saturday's doubleheader against the Manhattan Jaspers. Now we're going straight to the bottom of the 5th inning. Manhattan already up 2-1, but not before Rob Pescatelli gets one out of the ballpark. A 2-run homer right there puts the Quinnipiac Bobcats on top 3-2. Now transitioning straight to the top of the 7th inning, Manhattan, Chris Reynolds, a ground ball right through the wickets right there of second baseman Aaron Freed. The error allows Joey Rocchetti to score for the Jaspers, 3-3 tie. But that's not going to stand right there, rather, as Matthew Batten on the ground ball. Manhattan is going to cause an error right there, and Quinnipiac is going to score. Brian Moski makes it 4-3. An insurance run makes it 5-3 Quinnipiac. And right here, a fly ball to right field. What an amazing catch right there by Rob Pescatelli. And he might be going in a little slowly into the field, but that's because they got Manhattan on a double play. That's game, set, and match right there, as you see. Ben Gibson right there, goes right there with Robbie hit. Quinnipiac, 5-3 winners. What happened in Game 2, MJ?
So, Tom, Game 2, same day, Saturday, Game 2 of the doubleheader. We'll take you to the bottom of the 2nd inning. 3-3 game before this play from Matthew Batten. He drives this one to right field. That's going to score 2. Quinnipiac. Well, there's the 1. I'm sorry. You got the error on the throw from right field. And there's number 2, Tom. Quinnipiac leading 5-3 after that sequence of events. We'll head right to the 6th now. Christian Santisteban sends this one out of here. Home run. Hits it over the fence. That is the beginning of a late game collapse for Quinnipiac. Manhattan up 8-6. Top of the 6th still. Again, Manhattan scoring more runs. Bats are absolutely clicking. After that play, it's 10-6. Still in the top of the 6th, Tom. What elongating this was. Michael Fenninger is on base, shoots it down the right field line, puts runners in scoring position. Manhattan only holding on to a 10-6 lead, but I say only as if it's not that big of a lead. We'll go to the 7th now. Fabian Pena drives it to left. That's going to score more runs. 14-8 Manhattan right now. I'm sorry, 11-8 Manhattan. That's the way the game will end. 17-11.
So now the teams took the field for Game 3, the rubber match on Sunday, to see who would come out victorious. After a seemingly close game in the bottom of the 4th, Brian Moskey ripped the bases clearing triple, scoring 3 runs. The team went on to defeat Manhattan 10-4 to win the weekend series.
We're going to take a quick break, Tom, but when we return, a busy weekend for Quinnipiac Softball, 3 doubleheaders in 1 week, and MAAC tournament chances on the line. We'll catch you up on all things Bobcat Softball.
And we cannot forget, MJ, both the men's and women's tennis teams, both pursuing the top seed in the MAAC tournament. Can both claim it? Don't go anywhere. Sports Paws is just begun.
I could really go for a Ray and Mike sub right now.
Come to Ray and Mike's and try our Philly chicken and cheese for just over $4. Giant cheesesteak subs and mouth-watering boar's head sandwiches for as low as $4.75. Q-Cash accepted just a mile down the road on Whitney, here at Ray and Mike's. Good evening and welcome to Sports Paws.
In the end, we're here to win a championship this year.
Jess Fontana has that. She's going to take a ripper off the post, but she's going to come back.
And my number 1, hold your applause, Bobcats fans, is Quinnipiac.
All right, Victoria, you know what time it is. It's top 5 plays of the week.
My favorite time.
Thanks for sticking with us on Sports Paws. You know, MJ, the softball team had a really big week, and I mean really big. 6 games in 6 days, and it all started with Army Strong coming to Hamden.
That's right, Tom. Army came to Hamden for a doubleheader on Tuesday and quite frankly left happy. The Black Knights took both games on the day, the first 12-4 and 3-1 in the second. The Bobcats scored first in each game but relinquished the lead both times. The non-conference losses do drop the Bobcats' record to 16-20 overall.
Now, MJ, we're going to go right into the second doubleheader of the week against the Fairfield Stags. Quinnipiac won Game 1, and that was all Sydney Roby. A one-hit shutout, and she also scored the 1 run on a hit. Transitioning right now to Game 2 right here, Casey Herzog was on fire early on in the game. Strikeout after strikeout after strikeout. It just did not end right here. We're going to go straight to the top of the 4th inning where Quinnipiac with 1-0 lead, runner on first for Fairfield. Tori Reed hits a ground ball to short, but Quinnipiac, unfortunately, they could not complete the beginning of the double play right there. So now runners on first and second. Later that inning, Kate Robinson makes Quinnipiac pay. As right there, Alicia Marshall scores, and the Stags tied up the game at 1. Going to the bottom of the 7th, Casey Herzog, yes, the pitcher. Can she get a home run right here? It goes back, and unfortunately not far enough right there. It was a nice play by Fairfield to go into extra innings as the game is tied up to 7. And right here on a stolen base attempt right here by Fairfield, the ball gets past all the Quinnipiac infielders, and unfortunately, Fairfield will score what will be the winning run. They go on to win this game 2-1. Quinnipiac, unfortunately, could not find the score in the bottom of the 8th inning.
So, Tom, you told us a lot about what happened on Saturday. Now let's take a look at what happened on Sunday. The Iona Gales came to town to face off against the Bobcats. Here's Game 1 of that doubleheader. Right to the 7th inning, Sarah Schutz singles up the middle. Kelsey Long is going to advance to third, but the overthrow from the outfield, that ball gets away. Iona's going to make you pay. They score. They take a 2-1 lead. Bottom of the 7th, though, it's Miranda Magana. She sends this rope down the left field line, scoring not 1, but 2. That is a walk-off hit for Magana. The Bobcats win Game 1, 3-2. And When there's a first game, Tom, there's a second. Here's game 2 of the doubleheader coming at you. We're going to start right at the top of the first inning, a little different from the first game here.
Okay.
Here's the second, though. As I said, top of the first inning, Sarah shoots again. She flies this one deep to left field, but deep enough for a sacrifice fly. Katie Newton on third base. She's going to tag up and score. Iona with a 1-0 lead early in the game. We'll head to the top of the third now. Kelsey Long, she singles to left, and we've seen this before, Tom. A throw gets away from Danny Edmonds, rolls to the backstop. Sarah shoots, scores. Iona extends its lead to 4-0. 2 batters later, Brianna King drills one to dead center. That's going to be a double. Kelsey Long and Marissa Gergel will score. Iona leads this game 6-0. They'd go on to take game 2 of the doubleheader 7-0. Well, Tom, we just went through this entire week's action. Now let's bring in Kyle Lavasser, talk a little more in depth. Kyle, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, MJ. It's great to be here.
So, Kyle, firstly, what do you believe are some maybe pros and cons from softball's 2-2 weekend?
Well, guys, it was a huge weekend, like you just said, 2-2. They split both doubleheaders, 1-1 against Fairfield and Iona. And really, let's just start with the pros. It was a huge doubleheader against Fairfield, the number 3 team in the MAAC. Quinnipiac is battling for a spot in the MAAC playoffs. The top 6 teams made it. They started as the 7th team going into the weekend. They dropped to 8th in the MAAC. So right now they're out of the playoffs looking in. And really winning one of those games against Fairfield was huge. Sydney Roby looked amazing out there on the mound. She was really the MVP of this weekend for me. A complete game 1 hitter against Fairfield in game 1. No runs, no walks, 7 strikeouts. And then you also have Casey Herzog, who pitched excellent. She really should have came home with the win in game 2 against Fairfield. She pitched 8 innings, went into extras, no earned runs, no walks. They did end up losing 2-1 off of 2 unearned runs. But it just really goes to show you how great this pitching has been.
Now, it's interesting you mentioned that, Kyle. And so now transitioning from the pitching to the offensive side for Quinnipiac, we have seen some offensive struggles of late, right, MJ? And it's just interesting what's been going on with them the past couple of weeks. Why do you think they've struggled offensively for the past couple of weeks?
Well, guys, we just talked about the pros. Their offense is just the biggest con for this team. They have the 2nd lowest batting average in the MAAC behind St. Peter's. St. Peter's, a team that is 0-11 in the MAAC and 0-33 overall this season. That just shows you how much this lineup has been struggling on offense. They're the only team in the MAAC other than St. Peter's, again, without a hitter with the batting average over 300. All their hitters have a sub-300 batting average. Really, the hitter for me that is going to have to step it up and be key to them down the stretch is Kaylani Finley. She leads the team in average, home runs, and RBIs, and she's batting 5th in the order after Sydney Roby and Danny Edmonds. She's going to be a spot that protects them and drives in runs.
So, Kyle, talking about, bringing this pitching and hitting that you said into consideration, is there a game on the rest of this Bobcat schedule which you feel maybe a doubleheader you see is the most important?
Absolutely. It has to be the last one of the year at home against Niagara. Both teams are right outside of the MAAC playoffs looking in. Niagara 5-5 in the conference. Quinnipiac 4-6. They sit 7th and 8th respectively. And it's going to be a big weekend for Quinnipiac in general. They're going to play 6 games in 3 days. They're just coming back from New Jersey in a doubleheader against Ryder. I expect them to win that series. And then coming back, there's going to be a lot of pressure on them to win if they're still looking into the playoffs. Both are competing for playoff spots. And I do expect them to win both games of this series. They're going up against Niagara, a team in the bottom half of both offense and pitching this season.
All right, Kyle, interesting choice there with Niagara. So now transitioning into our last question here. So as you already mentioned it, Quinnipiac currently 4-6 conference play, sitting in 8th right now in the latest MAAC standings. What do you believe are the chances that Quinnipiac can crack and get into the top 6 rather and end up making the postseason?
Tom, I really do think they're going to make the playoffs and get that 5th or 6th spot. And here's why. Their series against Fairfield was huge, and their upcoming schedule. Let's start with the Fairfield series. Sydney Roby and Casey Herzog were both dominant. And then with their schedule, they're playing 2 teams in the bottom of the MAAC in St. Peter's and Ryder. I think they're going to sweep those series, and I think they're going to make a run in the playoffs.
Kyle, thank you for bringing that softball knowledge to the table. We really appreciate it.
Awesome work, Kyle.
The men's tennis team ended regular season play with 2 conference wins, 6-1 over Fairfield and 4-0 over Siena, along with a 5-2 victory in a non-conference match with ASA College. The win places Quinnipiac as the number 2 seed in the MAAC tournament, and the win over ASA College gave the team 15 wins, good for a new single-season program record. The Bobcats' first test in the tournament will be the Marist Red Foxes, the only conference foe to defeat the Bobcats. On the other side, the Quinnipiac women's tennis team clinched its 3rd straight undefeated season in conference play. Quinnipiac defeated Siena 6-1 on Saturday. This means that since joining the MAAC 3 seasons ago, Quinnipiac women's tennis has not lost to a conference foe. Quinnipiac also swept ASA College 7-0 on Sunday in a non-conference matchup. The Bobcats are the MAAC regular season champions and number 1 seed in the playoffs.
Well, it's already time for our final commercial break, but when we come back, Victoria Retigliano breaks down the year that was in Quinnipiac athletics.
Plus, Tom, Maury Hirschgordon brings you his top 5 coaches in Quinnipiac athletics. A lot of hardware found its way to Hampden this year. Who will land a spot in the top 5? Don't go anywhere. Sports Paws will be right back.
MJ, let's take a look at something really quick. So, women's rugby winning a national championship, men's hockey earning national runner-up honors for the 2nd time in 4 years. I think it's definitely safe to say that there were many accomplishments for Quinnipiac athletics this past year.
That is absolutely correct, Tom. What a year it has been for Quinnipiac sports. Fall, winter, spring, it's all there. Who are the top teams of the year? Victoria Rutigliano has it all.
2015-2016 proved to be a winning year from top to bottom for Quinnipiac athletics. After an almost perfect regular season, the rugby team took down Army in the NCVWRA Championship to bring home the school's first ever national championship title. Alona Marr and Maggie Miles helped the team to finish with just 2 losses on the season, while Mason Johnson was named the national championship game MVP. The field hockey team played to a similar beat, clinching the MAAC regular season title before falling to Fairfield in the MAAC championship. Midfielder Angie King won the NCAA Division I Statistics Championship after tallying 13 defensive saves, and head coach Becca Main took home the MAAC Coach of the Year. With yet another successful MAAC season in the books, the squad announced it would move to the Big East Conference in 2016. As the frost started covering the grass, the hockey team hit the ice for the season. Both the men's and women's teams took home ECAC regular season and tournament titles. The women's squad finished with 30 wins and just 3 losses on the season under new head coach Cassandra Turner. The ECAC championship title was the first time the squad took home this award in history, and they went on to the NCAA tournament where goalie Sydney Rossman and her squad fell just short of Clarkson in the first round. The men's hockey team had one of the winningest seasons in history under head coach Rand Pecknold. After clinching both conference titles, the team headed to the NCAA tournament in first place and took the ice for the Frozen Four for the 2nd time in history, before falling to North Dakota in the NCAA championship. The team finished with Sam Annis taking home All-American honors and goaltender Michael Gartig receiving nominations for the Hobie Baker Award. Switching from skates to sneakers, the women's basketball team finished MAAC play, owning the MAAC regular season title before falling to Iona in the conference championship. MAAC Coach of the Year Tricia Fabry led her team on a 19-game win streak before falling in the finals. Erin McClure received MAAC Rookie of the Year honors, and leading point scorer Maria Napolitano helped the Bobcats see action in the WNIT, where the team was knocked out in the 2nd round by Temple. With winter sports running into the spring season, the men's lacrosse team joined in on the success. The team is currently perfect in MAAC play and has secured the regular season conference title. Brian Feldman leads the MAAC in goals after netting 7 goals in just 1 game against Canisius. Captain Ryan Keenan is adding to his past 3 impressive seasons, registering the most points on the team and has accumulated at least 1 point in every game this season. While the lacrosse team is taking over the conference, the baseball team made a dramatic jump from 10th to 7th in the MAAC after sweeping Iona in a 3-game series. Captain Matt Batten is on the watch list for the top shortstop in the nation after leading the conference with 130 field assists. And Thomas Jenkins took a no-hitter into the 8th inning against Iona and is 2nd in the MAAC, striking out 51 batters. The women's golf team took home the MAAC Tournament Championship with Luciana Tobia becoming the first ever Quinnipiac player to medal in the tournament. She was also named MAAC Player and Rookie of the Year. The women's tennis team won the MAAC regular season title, finishing perfect in conference play for the third consecutive season. It looks to head back to the NCAA tournament in May. With spring sports still in action, be sure to follow all the postseason games on Q30television.com. This is Victoria Rutigliano, Q30 Sports.
Well, Victoria, as always, great work. And you know, MJ, you can never have a good team without a strong head coach. And our very own Maury Hirsch-Gordon takes a look at each Quinnipiac head coach and creates his top 5 coaches list. Maury, who do you got?
Quite the success across the board, gentlemen, for Quinnipiac Athletics from top to bottom, men's and women's sports. But we have a special segment tonight. I'm going to rank my top 5 Quinnipiac University athletic coaches of the 2015-16 year. So let's get started. Before we get to the touchscreen behind me, the under consideration: Carolyn Martin, women's track and field; Becca Main, field hockey; John O'Connor, women's golf; Paula Miller, women's tennis; and Mary Ann Powers, acrobatics and tumbling. All of those coaches won respective conferences or went to the championship game or went to national semifinals. So those 5 did a tremendous job with their teams. But let's get down to the rankings now. At number 5, we start with men's lacrosse, a team that is still in its season. Eric Feketa has done a tremendous job. His team is 8-3 thus far this year, 5-0 that is, in the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference. It has clinched home field advantage throughout the playoffs and a MAAC regular season title for the first time in program history. It will host the MAAC playoffs in the first weekend of May. Ryan Keenan, Brian Feldman, Jack Brust have been instrumental to the team's success, and the team has a chance to get the most wins in program history since 2001, in which they recorded 14. On to number 4 now, and my number 4 coach of the year for Quinnipiac University Athletics is none other than Trisha Fabry, the women's basketball coach. Trisha Fabry admitted it was her best coaching job in the 20-plus years she's been here in Hamden. She's been tremendous. She's one of the longest tenured coaches here on campus. 19 straight wins following an 0-3 conference start took her team all the way to the conference championship game. Unfortunately, an injury to Maria Napolitano in the MAAC semifinals may have just left the Bobcats a drop short against the Iona College Gales in that championship game. Erin McClure, MAAC Rookie of the Year, and Trisha Fabry brought home the MAAC Coach of the Year. On to number 3, Becky Carlson, the first ever coach to win a national championship in Quinnipiac University athletics history. Just a tremendous job she did all season. Players like Alona Marr, Maggie Miles, the rest of the bunch did an outstanding job to bring home the national championship. Becky Carlson, a pioneer for women's rugby and women's athletics across the nation. On to number 2, we have Cassandra Turner, the first coach that plays at the High Point Solutions Arena night in and night out. Cassandra Turner came into a program amidst one of the greatest controversies in all of Quinnipiac University athletics. Following the Rick Seeley scandal, she took a program and recorded 30 wins. That is the most wins for a first-year head coach in Division I women's ice hockey history. She won ECAC Coach of the Year. She led her Bobcats to the first NCAA tournament home game in their program history. And at number 1, none other than the man that leads the men's ice hockey team, Rand Pecknold, fell just a drop short in the national championship game, but that is not to say 32, 4, and 7 was not successful. A Cleary Cup, a Whitelaw Cup, a regional championship, a berth to the Frozen Four. Second time in the last 4 seasons that he leads his men's ice hockey team to the national championship game. And don't be surprised if you are to hear his name around future NHL jobs, because that is just how good of a coach Rand Pecknold is. So there you have it, the top 5. Feketa, Fabry, Carlson, Turner, Pecknold, from 5 to 1. Guys, back to the desk.
Thank you, Maury. Well, if you follow Q30 Sports on Twitter, you probably saw our Bobcat of the Year polls. We asked, and you voted, Bobcat fans. Your male Bobcat of the Year goes to Matthew Batten. This Quinnipiac baseball shortstop is no joke. The junior captain has had a terrific season so far. He leads the team in a plethora of categories at the plate, including batting average, slugging percentage, and hits. And Batten is second on the team in on-base percentage and stolen bases. Ladies and gentlemen, your male Bobcat of the Year.
And now switching over to the female Bobcat of the Year, MJ. Again, as on Twitter, we gave you 4 choices. It's all based on your votes. So now the female Bobcat of the Year is Alona Moore. Aluna Mar, of the women's rugby team. She was a key contributing factor, and I mean a big contributing factor, to lead the Bobcats to the national championship crown. Mar also set the program record with 28 ROTs, which are better known as runs over 20 yards, this past season. She also finishes the season with 23 tries, 17 assists, and 48 solo tackles. Impressive job.
Very impressive numbers indeed, Tom.
Yes.
Guess what time of the show it is?
Oh, I know what time it is. I know it's Victoria's favorite time.
Indeed it is. We're going to go top 5 plays, but this time, Tom, we're going to expand it a little bit.
Yes.
Not top 5 plays of the week, but it is the end of the year, so
oh, my Lord.
top 5 plays of the year. Tom, why don't you start us off?
Oh, I'd be glad to. We're starting at number 5, field hockey versus Ryder. The MAAC semifinals off a penalty corner. Quinnipiac works its way past a lot of big passes right here, and ultimately, with no time left on the clock, Savannah Riley gets the goal for Quinnipiac.
Number 4, Michael Gartig versus crosstown rival Yale. Gartig could not have played a better season for this Bobcat team. Check out this windmill save there. Only one of his nasty saves on the year.
And take a look at this, MJ. Number 3, women's rugby. Maggie Miles. You think it's Army strong, but no, it's Maggie Miles strong right there. Trucks the Army defender right there, and just unbelievable. She would go on to win a try. Quinnipiac wins that match 20-12.
Number 2, TT Cianferrano dangles here. Don't mind if I do, she says. Good patience, too. Puts that in the back of the net. Led the ECAC with 52 goals.
Patience absolutely helped her with that goal right there. But what is number 1 of the year, you may ask? It's back to Michael Gartig. Look at this stick save right here in this game right here.
What a save, Tom.
I can't believe it. Yeah, against St. Lawrence right here. Brian Ward, and here's the upper camera view. What a save right there on Ward. It was a 0-0 tie in that game, MJ. Just an incredible save. I tell you, I don't think I've ever seen a save like that. Just incredible.
Had me speechless in the press box, Tom.
Same here, same here.
Tom, that's going to do it. Don't forget, while this may be our last show, you can catch all our content, past, present, and future, online at www.q30television.com and on Twitter at Q30Sports.
And I mean, it's such a privilege to host my very last show of Q30 Television, my 5 years here with you, MJ. And I want to thank everyone behind the scenes, and for executive producers Victoria Bertigliano and Paul Caracciolo. From the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for having me on tonight. And for the rest of the associate producers, Hannah Cotter, Sierra Goodwill, Sam Preville, and of course, the man with the great softball analysis over there, and Kyle Lavasser. And from all of our Q30 Television executive board and everyone behind the scenes, as I mentioned, special thanks for all year long success on the show.
For the last time, he's Tom Albanese. I'm MJ Baird. Thanks for watching.